Hi guys, it's Amiyrah from Four Hats and Frugal. Today I'm coming to you with a homeschool video. Technically, I wanted to share 5 questions you should ask yourself before you homeschool. Well, these are the 5 questions that my husband and I asked ourselves before we decided to homeschool our kids. We are currently in our second year of homeschooling. We homeschooled our oldest last year, and this year we're homeschooling our oldest and our middle girl. So technically, we're newbies again because we're homeschooling 2 kids this year instead of 1. So it's a whole different can of worms. But I wanted to share the questions that we asked ourselves before we decided to take on this new phase in our life. Just a little backstory. We decided to homeschool our now 10-year-old son because he was very frustrated at school that he couldn't learn about science on a daily basis. He loves science. He wants to be a scientist. He actually wants to be a chemist, he's now saying. So when an African American little boy tells you that they want to learn as much science as possible, you make sure that happens. So that's what we did. He also has ADHD, so he wanted to be able to learn in a new way or in a different way so he can understand things. So we decided to give him a year at home, kind of let him figure out his new learning style, how he can learn new things the way that he wants to learn them, and to give him a chance to be fully immersed in science. So that's why we homeschool. But here are our 5 questions that we decided to ask ourselves before we tackled homeschooling. So the first question is, what is your end goal? That is a loaded question, right? That's probably the most important question you can ask. Why do you want to homeschool? What is your end goal? What do you want your children to be able to accomplish, and when do you want them to accomplish it? Do you want to do diapers to diplomas? Is that something that you would like to do? You want them to learn once they're babies, and you want to teach them all the way up until they graduate high school through homeschooling. Is that what you want to do? Do you want them to just learn from a short period of time and then put them back into public or private school? Which is where we are. We would love to homeschool our oldest until high school, and then he can go off to high school if he so chooses. You need to figure out what your end goal is, because that's going to help you stay focused during your time, during the time that you homeschool, during your time that this will be a new change for your family. So, what's your end goal? Question number 1. Question number 2. Can you make the time? Not do you have the time? Nobody has the time. You don't. Nobody has the time. But can you make the time? Are there pockets in your day where you can homeschool? Can you do an early morning homeschool? Is it better that your children learn in the afternoons when it's a little bit more relaxed? Can your spouse teach a subject in the evening? My husband teaches science when he comes home from work. He does the science and he does it after work. But yes, you don't have to homeschool all day. Homeschool is not like public school. It's not an all-day thing. But you do need to figure out which parts of your day can you dedicate to learning with your kids. Not just them learning, because homeschool, parents actually learn with their kids, which is pretty cool. Question number 3, is your family on board? Now, I'm not talking about the family that you live with, although they need to be on board too, obviously. I'm talking about the extended family. Are they on board? If it will be nice if they are, they do not have to be. That's what I'm going to tell you. A lot of people say, yes, you need that support. You need to listen. It's very nice if your extended family is on board and willing to help you. But if they are not, you need to figure out how you're going to do that on your own. How are you going to schedule your day, because you really don't have that support. And that's okay to not have it. They may not understand what you're doing. They may get it eventually once they see how happy and how educated and how well balanced your family is, but they may not get it and they may not be able to support you because they don't understand. So you need to realize, okay, we may not have support from grandma and grandpa right now. How are we going to work this out? Question number 4, what are your first steps? Now, I always say your first step needs to be legal stuff when it comes to homeschooling. How can you legally take your children out of the public school system and not have social services knocking on your door like, excuse me, your child's supposed to be in school? Because if you don't follow the correct steps, that may happen. I suggest going to the website of your state's Board of Education. They will have it listed the steps you need to do in order to take your children out of the public school system. If your child's never been in the public school system, cool. You still need to check it out and see what you need to do in order to get your child back into the public school system, if you ever decide to do so. So if they tell you they're going to need documentation and this, that, and the other, then you know, starting right now, I need to make sure that I'm saving all those little coloring pages that my kids are coloring from preschool. And when we do numbers, how they're practicing writing their numbers, I need to save all those because they're going to want to see them eventually. I also suggest going to, there's another website, it's called the hslda.org. And basically, they're like a legal aid for homeschoolers. That website is a wealth of knowledge. So you want to make sure you go on there, see what you need to do for your state, within your state. Each state has their own rules. So if you go on there, they actually break it down a little bit better than the Board of Education website. But I suggest going to both. Of course, you have your residual steps. You want to actually go to the Board of Ed office, tell them in person that you will be unenrolling your child from school, have them give you all the documentation, resources, packets, anything that they have available for you. Make sure you get all those things. I suggest doing a little bit of deschooling as your first step. So you've decided that keep your kid home. You decided that, this is going to be our new way of life. Sit them down, do deschooling for a couple of weeks to a month. We did it for like a month and a half. I had to get my son out of that public school mindset of this needs to be done right now. Oh no, we're supposed to be doing science right now. I need to be doing English. I didn't do a test. Are we going to have a quiz? When is recess? And we need to get this done before lunch and recess. Otherwise, I can't go to recess. They are obsessed with that schedule. So they need to kind of get out of that. And it takes a while to get them out of that. The last question is, what will be your focus? This is a good one too. Why do you want to homeschool? What's going to be your focus in your home? When people say, well, why are you homeschooling? What are you trying to accomplish by having your kids home with you to learn? You need to be able to answer that question. Now, a lot of homeschoolers are associated with keeping their kids home to kind of to build their relationship with God or with the Lord or with a higher power. And that's usually what's associated with people that homeschool. That's not always true. As I said earlier in this video, the reason why we homeschool is to immerse our African American son in science as much as possible, because that is what he is passionate about right now. And that's important to us. But we are Christians, we love the Lord, and my children sometimes decide during their free time to Bible study, and that just makes my day. But that's not our focus, although we love it so much. But we have one focus really for our children, and the same is going to be true for our daughter once she decides what she wants to really focus on. For our son is science, and then for her we'll have another subject, but that's where we are. We are a subject-based homeschooling family. Will you be a faith-based homeschooling family? Will you be a lifestyle-based homeschooling family? Do you have a child that is training to be in the Olympics, or a child who is a model, or a child who is very much into being an artist or is an artist, and they want to spend a lot of time with learning their craft? You need to figure out what your focus is. What's the reason that you're doing this for your children or for your family? The focus is key. So that's it, you guys. Those are the 5 questions. I'll read them off one more time just so you have them. What's your end goal? Can you make the time? Is your family on board? What are your first steps? And what will be your focus? If you would like to see the blog post that accompanies this video, click the link down below. I also put a printable in there for you guys to print these questions out and sit down and answer them with your family, which will be really great for you to do. That's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.